Good afternoon, ma'am.
Are able to see the PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. So yesterday we saw about climate and culture, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So today we will be taking up a new topic called organizational change. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So this is 3 to 4 class and your last class also. So I know all of you will be tired, exhausted. You heard lot of lectures from the morning. So we are going to keep it very conversational so that I will ensure that you are awake, not sleeping, or at least you are listening to the class, right? So you raise your hands and you can answer. Okay. Right. Because this topic is highly relevant. All of you would be experiencing this. You are very much into it. So that's why I would like your opinion, your experiences, and exchange with your friends so that your friends will also know about you. This will become a classroom, right? You will know who is speaking, who is what, right? Let us leave organizational. First, let us think about change. What is change? What is change? Anyone?
It is a transformation, ma'am.
Very good. What see? Let us start like this. What are the words you can coin with change, along with change? What are the various meanings we use? Money change. What is it?
It's a
Coins
transition
for
change,
rupee.
organization change,
Smaller denominations of bigger denomination. We call it as change.
plan change,
No, I don't want technically. Don't go into the subject. Just come to the life and tell me what are all the change words you can coin with, like dress change. You are changing your dress, right? Like that, I'm asking, what are all the words you are able to think about when you are talking about change?
ma'am.
Modification.
Replacing,
Very good.
replacing,
Replacing something. Very good.
Might be modification.
Modification.
Modifications.
Alteration.
or
Very good. Alteration.
Evolution, ma'am.
Evolution. Very good. Vijay got the point. Evolution. Makeovers.
updation,
Updations. Very good. Right. Enough. You are on the right track. Very happy. So, yes.
difference, alteration,
Yes. Alteration already came. So, these are all the words that is synonymous and that comes to your mind when we talk about change, right? Okay. So what is this change? A change is a transformation. That first point Girivasan has given. You are changing the form from one to the other, right? That is one way. Alterations or modifications, updations. And last we got evolution, right? A change can be either way. It can be from a good to a better one or a good to the bad one. Are able to understand? It is not necessarily, it is not that a change will be always towards evolution or a good transformation. It can be a bad transformation also, right? But what we have to understand about change is you have to accept the change. What we say about change is the only permanent thing. right? Everything else will change. Change is the only permanent thing. That will never change. Change will be there in all the life, all the time. See, imagine like this. Every day we are new. Can you believe that? They say that nearly 90% of the cell goes away in the air. When you are scratching, a lot of cells from your skin is flying away. And every day rejuvenating. We are getting new cells in our body. So even the physics is getting changed. That is why a lot of changes in the body occurs without you realizing that it is happening. Can you stop that? No. That is why, remember the topic when it comes to change and development. Actually you will be studying change and development as a separate paper. If you are a HR specialization student, you have a paper on this. This is the introduction for all the other specializations. Okay, what is change and development? So what I meant to say is, remember this when it comes. Change is inevitable. Remember this. Okay, you cannot avoid or evade change. Both you cannot do. You cannot evade change. You cannot avoid it because it is inevitable. It will come. It is there. That is the only permanent thing. Right? So remember this and come to the topic. So what we are going to see about change is organizational change. We are not talking about our life changes or evolutions or whatever we are doing in the personal life. This is about organizational change. When an organization changes or when an organization induces change to its employees. Do you get my point? When employees are forced or employees are, there is no option, they have to undergo a change. How they face it. And when the organization itself has to undergo a change, what happens to organization? These are the two perceptions we will be looking in this topic. Okay. So there are two kinds of organizational change. One is planned change. The second one is unplanned change. Right? That's why I given you the pictures. By that you can see what is a planned change. You have to go to that rock, right? But when it is given to you beforehand, what we can do, we can build a bridge and we can make the transition smooth, right? We can help all the people to walk through the bridge safely to the other side. So it is a planned change. What is an unplanned change? On the way, if the bridge breaks down, it broke. What will happen? Everybody will be hanging on the bridge. So, what is it? Unplanned change. So, what can we do? Can we leave all the people there itself? No. How to handle that change? That is also we will see. But do you get my point? I gave it a little intense because to emphasize a point. But organizational changes will not be like this, just to make it clear. Okay. So, how the organizational changes may appear to you. You may not know that it is organizational change unless you read these words. Okay, because organizational change is not a common word used in any change. Okay, they will not say we are going to undergo a organizational change. Okay, so what is the what do you say? The avatars. What are all the designs the organizational change will be presented to you? It's called as downsizing. It will come in the name of downsizing, restructuring, re-engineering, workflow reduction, a process change, a product change, a management change, grooming change, location change, right? Relocation. That is organizational change, right? Technological improvement or technological updation. That is an organizational change. Right? Product evolution. That is the organizational change. Are you able to understand my point? So how the change will come in various names and words. Right? So this is how a change will be introduced into the organization. Why change has to happen? Why you have to be disturbed? Can it be? No. Change will happen because organization has to grow. Because you have witnessed from all your life that growth will have change. You have grown because you have changed. Not only physically, mentally. When you are growing, you are changing. Do you understand? When a plant is growing, it is changing. A lot of alchemy is happening when you are changing. Lot of hormonal changes, lot of differences. Unable to understand, it cannot be changed. Growth comes with change, right? So that is why any organization cannot evade this change. So what is the advisable thing? Don't fight it. Okay, you cannot fight your growth, you cannot fight organizational growth. So change the mindset. See, better thing is to accept it. Okay, not always accept. I think all of you might have come through the quote, God give me the courage to change the things which I can change. Give me the serenity to accept the things which I cannot. And what is the third one? The wisdom to know the difference between these two. That is the important thing. What are the changes I can, resist? What are the changes? I can say that no, I will not change. And there are some changes which you have to accept because you cannot resist it. But you need the wisdom to differentiate between these two. What is what? Right? So that is very important. Okay. So we'll come to the next one. Change sequence. So when you cannot avoid, a organization is undergoing some kind of change. So what would be the sequence for it? How the change is initiated?
Muted.
You are muted, ma'am.
Yeah, just give me 1 second, please. I'll come back. Sorry for that. Okay, come back. Okay, so okay, sorry for that. Okay, so change sequence. So how the organization takes this? Okay, before going to the change sequence, why this is a serious issue? Why we have to study this as a separate paper, and why we have to make models? Why this has to have a sequence? Why? What is the bigger problem in changing?
Might be acceptance.
What is that?
Might be acceptance to change something. Might be acceptance.
Okay.
Might be with the big.
Okay, so what? Okay, I rephrase the question for you. If you are the employee, what will be your opinion towards organizational change? Say, for example, what is, let's say, relocation. Okay, the company is relocating to some other place, some other city. Okay, if you are an employee, what would be your reaction to relocation? And what would be a reaction if you are a manager?
Actually, acceptance plays with them, ma'am, because I have.
Girivasan, you are a manager or employee. Which opinion you are going to say?
Yeah, as an employee, first of all, I will worry about my job. If the organization is going to change, whether I have a security for my job, it will be continuing.
Very good.
So that I will have
So
a
what
as an
would be
employee.
the emotional reaction? What would you name the emotional reaction you are having now?
Yeah, in next few days, in the upcoming months, how can I
What I'm
manage
asking,
my family
how do you
members?
feel? What would you name your feeling?
It's a
Like
shock.
sadness or insecurity or fear, or what will you call that?
Job.
Yeah, both fear and shock
Very
will
good.
be.
Fear and shock. Very good. Fear and shock. Anybody else? Shakira.
Yeah, that's from job insecurity probably.
So you are also saying in employee's view, right? Job insecurity. Very good. That means fear. Insecurity is fear. Very good. Anybody else?
Might be in manager point of view. I usually I do ask the employees, like like I don't have any other option to like urge them.
Very good. So what will be the emotion you'll be having?
I do have a pressure kind of. I can't
Very
name it,
good.
but
Very good. Stressed, pressure, exactly. Very good. Anybody else?
As the manager, I may be aware of the reason for that change. So
Okay.
I want to have fair transition to the new things. So I
Fair
want to make,
transition. Okay. What can we call your feeling?
so that will be concerned sort of thing.
Concern. Very good. Protectiveness, concern. Very good. Very good. I'm getting very good answers today. Even for 3 o'clock, not bad. Very good. Anybody else? All of you are going in the correct route, very nicely. Anybody else? Okay, that is enough for me. Okay, at least 3-4 people have given the answer. Okay, it's what is the percentage? Maybe 0.5. It's good for me. Okay, right. So what is that? As an employee, see, I told you only relocation, right? The company is transferred from one place to other. But 2-3 of you immediately came up with the word that job insecurity. Where it rooted from? It is not a merger. It is not an acquisition, right? The management is not changing. It's only relocation. But suddenly,
No, ma'am.
exactly, because the same way. But if the water is clear and it is not very deep, what will happen? Our fear will come down. You will be ready to tread the water, right? This is what the management has to do. That is what change sequence is all about. Every person will imagine a muddy water when you are asking them to travel in a unknown route, right? The fear will root up because we are wired that way. You cannot fight it. You don't think low of yourself, thinking that why I am afraid of fear. That is the phenomena. That is how we are wired. God has created like that because we have to be protective of ourselves. All the time we have to be alert because for millions of years we have lived in forests and caves and we are afraid of predators all around in the forest. So we are made that way. When you are pushed to some place where you don't know anything, you are supposed to fear, right? So nothing wrong about that. So that is why the management understands that. And every change imposes this resistance from the employees. Remember, when you say something, a change, say for example, you ask your sibling, if you have a younger sibling or your child or someone who is younger to you, just to say that, what if they will be changing the school or the college they are studying for some reason? They will resist immediately before knowing which school they are going to be put into. They don't want that. Why? Because of the comfort zone. They have already rooted to the place, rooted to the school. I have friends here. I know my class. I know my class teacher. I'm comfortable with that. I like the canteen, so I don't want to move. Even though that is better, when that will come? Only after your mind is ready to cope up with the change and you are ready to taste the food in the other canteen. But you have to pull till that. Who has to do that? Management has to do that. Maybe after 1 month, the canteen food is very good. Your sister or brother will be thanking you for changing the school or college. They get my point. But if you leave them as per their decision, they will never change. Right? So that is why this change has to be initiated from the management. Remember always, change is coming from top management. And change is towards development. Remember this, it's a very important point. That is why we study the topic as change and development. Okay? Because any organizational change is planned change And why the organization is ready to change? Because we are destination towards a development. We want to grow the organization. We want to develop. So that is why we are planning this change. Right? So that is why it comes from top management, and it has to be, the sequence has to be initiated by the management. Unless otherwise the people will not accept any change, we call it as change resistance. We'll see later. Okay. So what is the change sequence? Initiation, motivation. Initiation is the plan. How you are going to change. You have to give the plan. Motivation. See, you tell your, say, the sister doesn't want to change the school. You tell that you will buy a new cycle so that she can ride in the new cycle to the school. Motivation. She may consider about the change. I tell your brother that the new canteen has a burger or pizza, what he likes. He may consider the change. Motivation. Diagnosis. See why the change is needed, whether it will really bring out development or not. Usually a pilot will be done, a small testing will be done to check the change, and then they will do. Because change, remember, change and development is a very costly affair. All the organizations will not take up immediately. It is a very time consuming and cost consuming affair. The entire organizational makeover will take around years, 2-3 years. For planning itself, it will take 2 to 3 years. Right? It's not very easy. So diagnosis is a form. Then information collection, whether the change can be done. A lot of data will be collected. Deliberation, then discussions, analysis, meetings, everybody will come together and see the feasibility of the change, whether the change has to be done or not. Then action proposal. After the deliberations, a project will be made and then implementation will start. So before the change even starts, that is a bigger process. It will go around 1.5 years for a medium-sized organization itself. If it is a bigger organization, the planning itself go for years together. And then stabilization. Once the implementation is done after years, the change has to be frozen. So that is called a stabilization. Otherwise, the change will be, imagine like this. Once you are moving a tilting pole, right? You want it deliberately. Once the change is over, you have to make it stabilize, or else it will be in the loose condition for a long time, which is not good. It will make the root weak. That is why immediately it has to be stabilized. Okay. So you are changing, you are stabilizing. Okay. So this is just a cartoon as usual, just for thinking how the people will think, even the top management. What if we don't change at all? No need for change, and something magic that happens, because we expect that change is a very tiresome process. You are exhausted with the change. So that is why it is better to think about some magical thing that happens, and everything changes overnight like a fairy tale, right? We all like that. Okay, so now the change model. There are a lot of change models. Just I'll give you 1 or 2 for thinking. So this is called as Lewin's model. Kurt Lewin has contributed this model. Lewin, Lewin's model it is called. Note it down. It's an important model. Questions often will be asked on this Kurt Lewin model. Okay, what is a change model is? He says that people are frozen. What is that? Comfort zone. We call it as comfort zone, right? So people doesn't want to come out of it. So unfreeze them. How to unfreeze them? What will you do to unfreeze something you are taken from the freezer? You will put hot water or thaw it inside the oven, right? What it is? A crude shock for the frozen item. It is ice and you are pouring hot water. Just the opposite. Why? To make it come out of its zone. That is what exactly unfreezing is about, right? Shook them, give the employees a shock so that they will come out of the comfort zone. Then change. When they are vulnerable, they don't know what to do else. They have changed, they are ready. So change them, give the implementation. Once they are changed, don't keep them in the vulnerable position. Again, refreeze them. Otherwise, what will happen? Already they are in the change mode. So what? They will be ready to change again. We don't want that. Once you wanted the change to happen, you refreeze them. This is the change model of Kurt Lewin. It is a very successful model. If properly planned and implementation is a project is done properly, proposal, it is a very successful model. It can be applied to any organizational change. Okay, so this is one model. Okay, there are 2-3 models, so we don't have time. If you are interested in change and development, you can see in your book. Okay, right. So this is what the next step is. Why the change is happening? Organizational development. What is this development? A development is a step above from the current state, present state. That is development. Okay. It is a planned effort. The organization is ready to make it as a effort, as a team effort. So what do? They will be, the feasibility study will be the first thing they will do. As I told you, time is also not an important thing, but the cost is very high. Why? Because this development is not done by the organizational people often, right? There is no, regular work model for this kind of work. The task is not a routine work. So, and it needs a lot of expertise. So there are consultancies for doing this change and development. So the organization will approach the consultancies for making the development inside the organization. So it would be a bulk fee for the other person, outsourcing. So they will be coming into your organization. They will do all the change and development work. Everything is done. They will hand over the organization and go away. So this is why it is a cost consuming affair. So it is a planned effort. The planning will be for a long time. As I told, done by process specialist. The development specialist will do that. They will give you a updated skill and strategies for the organization. They will do that based on the data they collect from the organization. And it involves change, obviously. That's what we are studying about. And the important point is the organization development has a commitment from the top, right? This is a mandatory rule. It's an unwritten protocol. It cannot be initiated from middle level or lower level or any other level. It has to come from the founder, top level, chairman or the vice president or the managing director, whoever has the power, the real power in the organization, they only can initiate. So it has to be a commitment from them. If they don't have the perseverance and commitment, halfway through, this will be a suicidal attempt for the organization, right? Remember, so organizational change is not an easy thing. Unless otherwise they are very sure, they are committed towards a change, it is not initiated by the management. And willingness from the stakeholders. Unless the stakeholders are willing, say for example, including government also is a partner for all these organizations, as they registered companies I'm talking about. So even the government concern, whenever it has to get the approval, it has to be. So the stakeholders are important, including the employees. We are talking about only employees because they will be the first party to resist it. But there are other people like shareholders, customers, suppliers, your people who are raw materials where you are getting from government. All these people are also part of the organization, all stakeholders. When the organization itself is changing, everybody's role part in the organization is also changing. So you have to take the willingness from the stakeholders. Even the resistance from a small stakeholder like suppliers can affect the organization. Involvement of external consultants, as I told you, then it is time consuming, costly effort that we have discussed. So what are the phases of body? How this is done by the external experts? There are actually 7 steps. We call it as 7 step. What are these? Initial consultation. First, you will be talking with the person, expert company. Then they will be collecting data from the organization where the change has to be initiated. Then the data feedback and confrontation. Whatever data they have taken, they will make it, interpret it and bring out some statements, inferences. Those inferences will be confronted with the top management of the organization. They will say, this is how your organization is and we are proposing this. Once the organizational top management approves, then they will go for the action planning. The planning will be done. It's called as action plan. And it will be the problem solving solution. Whatever problem, why you are going for the development, that problem will be having a solution for that. Then a team will be formed. Remember, this team formation includes the employees of the organization. It is not only the team from the experts, outside consultant, because till the action plan, experts has to give. But when it comes to implementation, it has to start from the company. The change has to be done in the company. So teams will be formed inside the company, right? What do we call them? Change managers and change enablers, right? There are certain kind of people, when I ask the question, when a company is relocating, how do you feel? Some of you told job insecurity. And I think Dr. Satyanarayana told that I may be concerned about what would be the growth. So he is a little bit ahead of you. He is ready to face the change, provided some clarifications, right? So when the company is taking the feedback, they will find out who are all the enablers, who are ready to, because it is, as I told you, we are wired, some people are wired like that, if you take me, I am prone to change. I am very happy to change because I'm very curious. I would like to be adventurous. So it is on your personality. So if you think about these people who are ready to change, you have to take them, make the team. They are the first people who will be changing, and they will be the leaders. They will give you the path. So there are other people who are little bit concerned, like Girivasan. So what you will be doing, you will be waiting that how the other people are reacting to the change. When it is successful, you are ready to follow, right? They will be immediately following the change enablers. But there are a group who are, like they are not willing to change at all, right? So those kind of people will be left behind in any organization. That is why we say that layoffs will come, right? When it is relocated for some reason or in any kind of change, people will be laid off. Those are the people who are problem creators. Those will be having higher resistance level. Those who cannot be unfreezed. So that is where the three categories will come in. So this team formation is based on these categories, right? So the next what happens? Then intergroup development. Once the this team formation is done, the team will be implementing the action plan. Who are the members? These company people, not the outsiders. Now, after that, there will be appraisal and follow up. Why this follow up? Because a change, as I told you, is a holistic picture. It's a bigger issue. So, whatever you have collected the data, you have made the action plan, whatever it is, while implementing, there are a lot of chances for flaws in the change. That is why buffer will be given in the action plan itself. So, when people find flaws in the action plan, a appraisal will be done. A small correction action plan will be taken over. Again, it will go to the first thing, right? So, this will be like a process for some time until everything is smooth, the transition is over, and you have refreezed the people, right? So these are the 7 steps of OD. That is one model. And what are the phases of OD? You have to introduce the organization to the external people, give the preliminary information. They will be interviewing the key personalities of the organization where they can get all the data. Then the design of process, because they will be the person who will be deciding what kind of change the organization needs. Then the problem identification. With all the data, they will do the problem identification. We call as the phases of OD. Okay, so with that, we are completing the change and development. Any doubts in that? Interventions. I'll tell about interventions. Intervention is a primary part of this development. When change and development is done, interventions are what? Slowly helping the people to change, right? Like how to say, there is a saying in Tamil, when you stick a needle into the banana will never know that it is getting a needle. That is how the intervention will be happening to you. You will never know that the intervention is. I'll give you an example. Right? Say, for example, the relocation. Right? What they may do, they will, one day they will ask Girivasan, do you like, say, for example, Madhya Pradesh or say Bhopal? Do you like Bhopal? He may say, no, I don't know about Bhopal. No, there is a duty there. Can you go do the work and come? Right? So this is the intervention. In future, they may be relocating. But Girivasan, by that time, he will never know that he is being intervened. So he will be sent away. He may go see the place and come back, and he may say to his wife and children that, see, the place is very cold, it is very good, it is having a quarters is there. So it is going to come after 6 months, but intervention starts early. Do you get my point? So slowly the company will be doing this. Interventions comes in frequencies, right? It is not continuous. It will come, say, every 15 days once or every 1 month once. The intervention frequencies will be there. So a change happens without our knowledge. Unless you are in top management, you will never know what is happening in the company. But at one point of time, when you see a continuous log of 1 year, then only you will come to know, yes, the company has changed and I also have changed. Intervention has happened. If you have not studied all these things, you will never know that company has changed you. Right? So this is how the change and development happens. As I told you, it is a very big paper. Usually For this paper, in regular, we take around 30 hours of class. And I like this paper very much, Organizational Change and Development. So for this 30 hours, we have just seen a gist of it. Okay, so I think I have justified it. If you are having any questions, you can ask now so that we will go to the next chapter. Any doubts? As usual, no doubts. No, let us change some way. You have to ask at least 3 questions. Then we will go to the next unit. Otherwise, I will not move. You have to ask some 3
Hello.
simple questions.
Yeah, hi, ma'am.
What is your name?
Hi, ma'am. Sorry, I was speaking on mute.
Yeah,
Actually, the phases of OD that you have explained, okay.
Yes.
So that is not there in study material. So is it like, can we expect anything outside of the study material as well?
Yeah, see, for example, that is why I tell you often, say you are in a PG course. That PG also, you are in a professional course, MBA, right?
Okay.
So, don't expect like a study material will be like a school book that out of syllabus. This is only syllabus only what you have to see, right? You see the syllabus, because remember one thing, to the question setter, we don't give the study material. The question setter will be given with only the syllabus.
Okay.
They get my point. So,
Yeah,
from the syllabus, you will get any question. So, a study material is a self-learning material where you will be given an introduction to that, right? You are a professional now. So, that is why last class I told you, go to Google Books, okay? You need not buy books. Don't search in Google, normal Google. Those things, what you are getting,
Got it.
Meta AI, whatever you are getting in Google is not authenticated at all, unauthenticated information. Don't go for that, right? Go to Google Books. Search your particular topic. You will get from a reputed book excerpts. Some 10-15 pages you will easily get from any book. That is enough. You read that. That is authenticated. That will give you
that
lot
is
of...
okay. That is okay, ma'am. I got your
Yes.
point. So, but apart from the syllabus, if we are going through the Google or ChatGPT, whoever will be following, and the way of representation would be different. Like here, you have represented some flow diagram, okay, but
That
we are not
doesn't
representing
matter.
that.
See,
Doesn't matter, right?
yes, because see, now I am giving you only few models, as I told you. There are hundreds of models for change and development. Right? See, for example, BPR, business process re-engineering, is a total entirely different model. Restructuring is a totally different model. There are so many models for this. It is not that there is a definite answer in management for that. And do remember one thing. The management itself is totally different from continents. How the organization is run, how the employees are looked into, what is the loyalty level, what is the management respect towards each other. All these things are totally different from Europe, US, Australia, India, Asia, all these things, it is totally different. So what we are studying is mostly based on US and UK models. Unfortunately, I don't know, because India has this trading and commerce well before other countries, right? But still, because of language, one thing is English medium, the medium of our teaching is English, so we take all the English books. Other one is our trade and commerce of our indigenous trade and commerce is not properly documented. We don't have that much of books, and the books, whatever we have, is also in regional languages. Like there are literature in Tamil where you can see the commerce flourishing long ago. There are Sanskrit poems which talks about the commerce. There are so many literatures, like Mahabharata and Tirukural has a lot of management things, right? But the problem is, as I told you, it's in regional languages. So our education system doesn't take that into concern. So we take the management standard and styles of UK and US. And another one thing, we are having the colonialism still in us, that hangover we call it as. So our organizations are, we wear a coat, suit and tie for the meetings. Why we do that? Because even though it is uncomfortable, we are having the colonialism back. Still it is hanging on us. Do you understand my point? So we study that model. But it is not wrong if you are writing this question in the Indian view. Nobody can question you. You are right.
Okay.
Right? So don't worry about that. See, the management, I see MBA as an exploration. You write your company's experience. That would be the best answer. Right? You write what happened in your company when a change occurred. You write the model what you have undergone, but don't write in the first person model. Say that I have, don't write that. In exam, you write the experience as a third person, right? Give examples wherever possible. That will fetch you more marks, right?
Means
So,
the experience that we have went through our career.
yes, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Say, for example, the change of quarters. How your family has faced it. You are changed from one quarter to other. A house shifting is a bigger change. The family has to undergo a lot. How it affects the employees. It is a change development. You can write that, nothing wrong. Right? That is why I often say that hereafter see a lot of advertisements. See the paper, how the companies are changing, how the products are marketed, what is the packaging. See all these things. Write these examples. These live examples is all about the answers we are expecting. We don't want what you are studying in the study material. We want to know whether you have understood the concept or not. That is evaluation. Do you understand my point? So I want you to apply this, whatever you are studying. So you write about the company where, say for example, a major company which underwent a bigger transformation. You write as a live example. This company has gone through a bigger change in the last few decades. What happened in that? Give a live case study. Okay, that would be more better. So don't worry about what are the models. That is why I give you different models from what is in the SLM, right? For your information, this book actually I have wrote this study material what you are reading. 3-4 units I have written in that. So I don't want to repeat that in my class, so that because you have that in hand. So I am trying to give you something else from the book so that it will be useful for you, right? So it is exploring. Even though say I am taking this class regularly, I try to update it. I give new things into the PPT every time so that it will be new. So update yourself and be relevant to the trend. That is important. Okay, right? Any other question? Only one question, I think. I want two more. Thank you, Rabil. Two more.
Thank you, ma'am.
Quick, quick, quick. We don't have time. Quick. I want two more sensible questions from change and development. Ten minutes ago, I appreciated the class. Can be anyone. Let's see, those are not. Tripti Shahi, are you there? I think Sunday afternoon, so you have ate well and slept. Abhinaya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand change and development, Abhinaya?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Rita Datta, do you have any doubts? I want you to ask some question. Shakira, Rita, Ratnesh.
Ma'am, I do have, but it will be pretty silly actually.
No problem. Let it be silly.
Sorry, I'm so sorry to admit this, but may I ask you something like what did you feel like personally? Might be you could have understood, I mean, you could have undergone various experiences, might be from management end
Changes.
or something.
I'm
Yeah,
very good change enabler. I don't know. I'm made that way. I will be welcoming the change with both my hands wide open. Right? I don't know. I have encountered a lot of changes. Maybe I have encountered big changes in my life when I'm young. So I'll welcome. I'll be very happy because I'm always would like to see the new things. I'm an explorer maybe. Right? I'll give you an example. There is one time in my career experience, and I'm 28, I think. Within 2 years, I have jumped 4 companies. 4 organizations I have changed. Why that 6 months? Minimum 6 months is necessary to get your PF amount, right? So I will wait for that 6 months, 180 days, and I'll jump to the other one. So there is a return. Within 2 years, I switched to 4 organizations. I'm very good in that.
thank you,
Very
ma'am.
good. Thank you. You. You took me to those years. Yeah, thank you. Anybody? One more question. Only one more. Rita, Pragya.
Ma'am, this is Balamurugan here. Ma'am,
Balamurugan.
recently in my organization, it is an MNC company. It has been split into two companies, finance and retail. And due to this organization changes, company has benefited, but employees got laid off, lower level employees. But managers have been saved in the job. So how can I see this organization changes? It is benefit to the organization, but being an employee, I should
Yes.
look after another opportunity.
Yes, this is the reality. Thank you for the question, Balamurugan. This is the reality. Okay, that is why you can see in the change. If you see in this slide, when I introduced change, my first point was downsizing, right? Because usually, if you say that the change, all the other words will be often used in your organization. We are restructuring the organization. Nobody will say downsizing the organization, but every change will be having this hidden agenda. That is why I told you, for the change enablers, those who are ready to change, they will be taking along. But if they see that these people are problem creators or they will not be benefiting to the organization, they will not think twice to lay off them. That is how the organizations work. You have to understand this is the reality and accept it. Any change is brought into the organization not for the betterment of the employees but for the development of the organization. Yes, keep that in mind. This is the fact. Any company which is going towards development will be leaving back some people. It is not, you cannot help it. But what you can do is you have to be well aware. That is why I told you, be careful about the interventions. Interventions come to you without the name of intervention. Right? When there is something, change is coming to you, smaller change or bigger change, be careful about that. Think in the view of intervention, whether the organization is giving the intervention to you for a bigger change. So those employees you are worried about, if they have known this priorly, that the organization is going to split and they are going to be layoff, they could have been prepared well for this layoff. That is the only thing we can do. Right? And as now MBA, be clear about that. As I told you, the resistance comes because of fear of unknown, right? So you take the fear out. Know all things about the change. So what will happen? Data is power. If you know what is there, so you will become a little bit of fearless. Say for example, let it be the muddy pond, but collect the data from the people who has already tread in that. What is inside the water? How deep it is? What will happen if I get stuck in one place? What are all the equipments I should carry with me to get away from when I am stuck? Are you able to understand? When you collect all these data, when you are forced into the muddy water, also you will be able to tread the water without fear. Because fear is one emotion which will be pulling you behind. If you win the fear, you will win the world. Change will not be a problem. So that is how you can be prepared for a change. Because we teach you only for the organizational change, not for the employee change. What I told you, Kurt Lewin model is to how to change the employees. Do you understand? It is not about how you have to change yourself. Refreezing, change them. Unfreeze, change, and refreeze. Do you get my point? It is for the management, not for you. So you have to make yourself prepared for the change. Right? Very good. Got the answers? Do you have any doubts?
Yes, ma'am. Got it. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Because you see, the company is investing for the change. The company has invested for the company. So who they will be worried about? Obviously, the company's benefit. Right? Accept that fact also. So we have come to the last chapter. This is about trends in the organizational behavior. That is the new what is happening in the relevant present world. I think after Corona, I need not say all these things because all of you are experiencing much better than me actually. Work from home. That is the first thing which is happened after in this 3-4 years, after Corona. But what are all the challenges it is bringing to the organizational behavior? What happens to the employees? What is happening because of this particular trend? Let us see one by one. Because work from home is a new concept. Previously, it was not there, only for software employees. Now it is everywhere. So the first question arises out of work from home is employee engagement and loyalty. Right? How much the employee is getting engaged into the job. And what is loyalty? Because see, you are working from home. What is the guarantee that you are working only for this organization? You might be working for somebody else also. The loyalty is in question. There is no motivation and morale. You know, morale is a collective behavioral enthusiasm we have seen. When you are at home alone, so every day I feel that, you know, for this class, you see, previously we will be having a offline class. So what will happen, you know, after this 4-5 classes, I know each and every phase of my student. And till that, I have some students from even in DDE who have studied 15 years ago. They still text me. They will say that I have gone here, there. Where is that connection? Now for the last 4-5 years, I don't know any of my students. They don't know my number. We don't text. I don't have any contact with them, right? There is no morale. I don't have motivation. Why is that? Because I'm just looking at you as a small pictures around that too, most of the time initials. There is no connectivity between people. The face-to-face connection is a very important thing for communication and relationship. That is totally missing here, right? So there is no morale. Collective zeal is gone and motivation is also gone. Because if it is a classroom, when you are here, you know, I might call you by name, you will be standing and addressing to the students. That will give a lot of energy to the class. That is missing. In the class itself, you can experience that. Social learning and self-learning. See, if the social learning is not a point, schools and colleges are all not at all necessary, right? The children can learn whatever the father and mother are doing. The father is a doctor or a lawyer, the son can learn from the father itself, right? But why we have to send them? Social learning is very important. How to be in a society, because we are social animals, we call. So that's self-learning is a challenge, right? That is another one thing. Then personal or workplace stress. When you get stressed, you cannot differentiate that. You are getting both things at the same place. Workplace is not different from the home. That is another one. Demarcation is missing. Then team playing or job autonomy. You are fully independent. You are not given with any support, team support when you are working from work from home. Even though it is a team, virtual teams we call, not very successful. Then appraisal. Where is performance appraisal? You don't see your superior at all. What is appraisal and what is the consequences of this? When you are not properly appraised, you know, what will happen? How the next generation is going to be? It's a question. So where is the end of shift? That is a major drawback of this work from home, you know. People feel that even though it is work from home, the working time is becoming lengthier, right? Because if, for example, if you are in your office, you might go with your friends for the canteen for a tea. It may be 15-20 minutes. That 20 minutes will energize you. At home, what happens? You are getting up, you are making your own tea, coming and sitting back at the computer. Where is the fun of enjoying the tea? It is getting missed out. So these are the trends and challenges of that. The second one is employee migration. That is a new trend, you know. Because of this is migration is an older concept, okay? But trend, now what happens? This migration is a reversal, in reversal gear, right? People are getting back to the hometowns because of work from home, particularly. The offices are empty now. So what happens? These employee migrations are creating a havoc in all the things like material supply, economy, real estate, housing problems. All these things are coming back, are getting solved out. Both ways you can see. But it is creating a new, I see a positive trend in employee migration. If you see that urbanization is getting a little bit mellowed down, so I see it as a positive sign in a longer term. After some time, I think this trend will help in organizational behavior in a positive note. Okay, then IT, information technology. This one is scary, really. Okay, so like, you know, this is that is why I gave you the picture. You can see the world is this is a game usually they play. World is a small fish now. Software itself was a bigger fish which was gobbling the world. But now what happens? That software industry itself is going to be gobbled by artificial intelligence. I don't know how long, how much it is going. Yesterday I got scary, really. There was one advertisement for a app, photo app. We know Photoshop is there, A lot of tools, software tools are there to make the photos, or we call it as visual effects, right? But it was in a height which is not reachable by a common man. Visual effects can be done by a set of people in Hollywood or a higher level people, right? Or in a software company, not by a common person who doesn't know computer. But yesterday I saw a photo app where you have to just give your passport size photo to people, and you can give the imaginary setting like sitting in a park. You won't believe it gives a photo which is so true. You cannot differentiate from a real photo or the it is duplicate. Why I'm saying it is scary? Because it is available for the common man. It is like giving the protocol of how to make a gun readily available in the public domain. You get my point? So information technology is going to bring a bigger change in the organizational pattern, how the people are behaving in the organization, because AI is going to give like laddu, everything. Laddu will be given to everybody freely, everywhere. So everybody will like that. But how it is going to affect the health of people is a big question, right? So what is a real checkup here is AI can eat up to 300 million jobs as per the latest report of Goldman Sachs. It's a survey report, okay? It's really shocking. How much what do you say, jobless people are going to be in the next decade is really scary, because if it is jobless, that means the capitalism will grow. Do you understand my point? If the people are going jobless, it doesn't mean the companies are not going to operate and not going to get profit. The companies will be earning profit more because they are going to lay off the people, and that salary will be considered as profit. Do you get? So the richer will be getting more rich, and the jobless people are going to come down. The economical gap is going to get widen up, and that is not a good symptom for anything, right? So this is another one trend we will be seeing. So this is all about the trends in OB. I have given you some few things, and it is an open arena. If a question is asked that write about the trends in OB, it is not that you have to write about this. You can write whatever you feel as a trend in OB. It is like we call it as a open playground, right? See what is the current scenario of OB, or give a globalized report of OB, or what is the different continental behaviors. Like this, these are all called open playground questions. There is no proper or a pattern answer. You can write your own experience, whatever you feel. So don't miss these questions. If an open question is asked, play it. Okay, right. So any doubts in this? Okay, I'm going as planned. As I told you yesterday itself, can I take 5-10 minutes more? It is 4 o'clock. Can we see the class up to 4:10?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. Any doubts in this one? Whatever we have seen so far?
No, ma'am.
doubts?
Ma'am, no doubt.
Okay. Siva Subramanian, you want to add something?
No, ma'am.
Okay, right. So we go to the next topic called consciousness, right? With that, we will be completing the entire book. So what is consciousness? Just I have given a quote, you can see that. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. A problem is created by a person, right? So he says that problem cannot be solved by the same level of consciousness. It has to have an upper level to solve it. Creation is lower level, solving is higher level. That is what consciousness is about, right? See, why we are studying is like this is the ultimatum of the behavior. If you understand this, you will be able to think, and you will have the empathy always in your mind, behind of your mind. Whenever a person is asking you or conflicting with you, you can be able to think on his side, how he is making the problem. It is called empathy, and it will give you a power, how to address him or how to handle him. So that is like you will get empowerment with this. Okay. So what is this? Conscious mind acts as a medium to analyze. As I told you, you will get that empathy. You will be empowered to think that why he is talking like this, why he is angry, why he is using that word. Instead of getting provoked, you will be analyzing the root cause of it. So it will be easy to handle, right? Then conscious mind is the I. When we say I think, what is consciousness? You say that I, what is that I? Right? Like that. Who am I? That question is that. Conscious mind is the one which appreciates, loves, hates, or any other emotion. Right? You can say that it is a place where all these bubbles are. Emotions comes from the consciousness. Then conscious mind acts with moral responsibility. That is the important thing, right? So always why we say that a mind acts to the situation, but conscious mind acts to the situation with your value, core value, moral responsibility, who you are in the society, who you are to your family, who you are to yourself, without hurting these things. Moral responsibility will be like, the guiding light for the mind. That is what we call as conscious mind. But when your emotion is so strong, what happens? The consciousness comes down, right? That emotion plays. So you have to always be careful that your conscious mind takes the upper hand and the emotion is at the control of this conscious mind. Are you able to understand this? It's a little bit complex, I know, but slowly if you think of it, it will be easier. Okay, but you have to spend some time on this particular topic too, because 2-3 times you have to go through, then you will understand it. It's not very, what do you say, it is not super high that you cannot reach that. It is only inside you. It will take some time to reach that level inside. Okay, not going up, this is going down inside you. Conscience management. So what is this conscience management? So when you say that consciousness is important, so you should know the way to manage it, right? So what are those things? How can you manage your conscience? Stop believing that buying something will make you happy, right? Not only buying. What I mean to say here is, don't make yourself confined with a statement that if I get that, I will be happy. If I acquire that, I will be happy. If I marry that person, I will be happy. If I have that particular thing, I will be happy. This is the confinement. Don't get into that. That is the first thing. That way, you can be free of this confinement. Conscious mind should be free. If it is confined in a jail, it cannot think properly. Do you get my point? And that's why I'm taking a little bit slow. If you are not able to understand or follow me, you can stop me and again we'll start. Okay. Stop thinking that changing the things out there will make you happy inside. Not only acquiring, changing. We want, see, always one thing we will be regretting about, we are not satisfied about, is the people around us. You will be comparing your parents to your friend's parents. See that person's mother. She is taking care more of him, so he is happy. What if I have a mother like that? Parents, spouse. See, particularly women, they'll be having regret towards husband. Why he is like this? Why is he not changing? If he changes, my life will be happy. But remember, the happiness is in your conscious mind. You are confining yourself into the jail that if that person changes, I will be happy. It is not related at all. If that person changes, maybe his happiness level will increase or his happiness level will decrease because he is changing against his will. Are you able to understand? If you are forcefully changing your spouse, the way he is or she is, they will not be happy. If your partner is unhappy, you will never be happy. So it is ulta. Instead of making them change, if you accept them as they are and you are expressing it, that I am happy the way you are, they will express that happiness, and that is how the happiness will be contagious and you will also be happy. Are you able to understand? Third one, start living as if you already have everything. Very hard, but possible. Right? You go the other way around to practice this. What do we think? We think that we don't have anything. Whatever we have is very low. I want lot. This is why unhappiness roots from the mind. Instead, think the other way, right? Whatever you are going to have, still you will be thirsty. Still you will need. That is how we are made. Remember, that's why I said the biggest pit is your stomach, how much you put into it. Again, it will be empty and it will be asking you. So there is no level to finish it. There is nothing can satisfy a stomach. Remember that. That is how your needs also. If you buy a gold necklace, you want a diamond necklace to be happy. If you buy a small car, you want a big car to be happy. See, if the things can bring happiness, the world's richest people will be happy and they will stop earning. Am I right? Have you seen any person have stopped earning even though they are rich? Have you seen name one person who has stopped earning even though they are rich? World's richest people. No. So that means how much you have, you are still going to need. So then what is the meaning? Right? So think the other way around. What you appreciate, it appreciates you back. I would say this is even if you can apply this to non-living things. If you appreciate, say for example, a monitor is in front of me. If I appreciate my monitor, what is appreciation? If I clean it up, if I maintain it properly, if I switch off every day, it will appreciate me. How it will appreciate me? It will work for a long time. When this is applicable for a non-living thing, think about living things. If you appreciate them and adore them, they will do that to you back. Right? Then practice gratitude. You have a lot of things to be grateful for. At least think about 3 things every day. What you are grateful for. See, first thing I would say, if you are given with all your limbs properly, hand, eyes, nose, your physique is fully able, not disabled, you should be thankful for that. Right? So like this, think about 3 things. Take care of your mind and body as if you were your best friend. Right? Be grateful to the body because no spare parts are available easily. So take care of the body. Cultivate habits that makes you more content and easeful, and let go of ones that don't help you to elevate. Any habits. If it is pulling you back, remove it. If it is elevating you, practice it. Right? I think you understand what my meaning is about the bad habits. Okay? So,
Ma'am, one thing I want to
yes,
understand. So
Ravi.
consciousness is directly related with psychology, we can say.
Yeah, of course. This paper itself is psychology paper. Conscious mind is psychology. Right? See, this paper is a branch of industrial psychology. Organizational behavior roots from industrial psychology. Right? Industrial psychology is a applied psychology paper. So what do? We take all the theories and things from that psychology. It's a psychology paper. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Then, so the last thing is what we think we become. I think all of you know about this one, right? So all that we are arises with our thoughts. Who you are is what you think. With our thoughts, we make the world, because it is, as I told you, it is contagious. How you accept other people, they will start accepting other people. So that is how this can be a change in the world. So this one picture particularly, why I have given, I like this animation. What do you say? It's for children actually, but I have seen it many times with my son. Any of you have seen that Avatar?
Yes, ma'am.
No, it's not for children. There are so many lessons for adults too in that. So I like that. I would recommend, if anybody wants, you can see that. That will be very helpful to understand. So that's all. We have come to the end actually. So this will be about conscious mind. The next one is organizational vision. A organizational vision is where it reflects the organization desires. The missions will clarifies where, how to get it there. Values are how the individual should be in the organization, and competencies or the organizational abilities on how it can achieve the vision and mission. So this is alignment of goals. So how the organization can align its goals to improve it and to attain the goals. This one is gender sensitivity. Gender sensitivity is a new trend actually. That is why I gave it here. Gender sensitivity is you have to treat the people equally, men and women. Okay. Also the third gender also. Nowadays it is not only two genders, three genders we have, third gender. So this is a gender sensitivity is given the organization that people should be elevated, empowered. Men and women should be treated equally. Why I given that third picture, even though women also do work in the construction industry, they are still paid lower than the men just because of the gender. They both come at the same time, they both work at the same level, but there is a difference in the salary, wages, right? That is gender sensitivity. It has to be brought into organization. Happening, but very slowly in India. But European countries and other countries are far better in that. The next one is competency mapping. This is also a new trend, evolution in the HRM area, behavior area. A person will be analyzed and the core competency will be found out. How the person is good at one point, in which it is called as competency mapping. The HR department will do that. They will interview you, they will take test of you. Your personality will be analyzed and it is called as competency mapping. Once the competency mapping is done, you will be placed accordingly to the position. So these are all the trends new in the OB. So these things you have to learn in OB. Okay, so we have come to the conclusion. Hope within the given time, usually previously, we used to have more hours, but because of this CBCS pattern, your number of papers have increased. So that is why I'm also learning actually how to make it concise, very precisely. So hope I have made justice. So any doubts you can share with me now. We will have some 3-4 minutes and we'll wind up. Okay.
Ma'am, what is the difference between conscious management and conscience management?
See, conscious mind is the noun, how you say the mind actually. Conscience management is a verb, how consciousness can be managed. Both are same. But when you are pronouncing it as a verb, when managing, we say conscience. You cannot say consciousness management. So we say yes, conscience management. That is nothing else is difference. Conscious mind is what you think about you. When I say I, that is my conscious mind. Right?
Okay.
Anything else? My request is practice this. Whatever you are studying in MBA, you start practicing because all these things are management theories. So that will help you to manage people, manage time, manage in the organization. So it will help you. So see, for example, when operations management you will be studying in second semester, I think there will be a lot of theories that will help you to make an event management. How you can plan the timing, how you can plan the events. Like that, whenever you are going through a paper, try to practice it in your life. That way you will not forget the concept also and your life also will be better. Right? Any other doubts? Okay, so thank you for the patient listening. I have taken more time than I have asked you. It is 16 minutes actually. I asked for 10 minutes only. 4:16. So is it okay? Then shall we wind up? Okay, thank you very much.
PPT.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, I will share the PPT.
Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am.
Here itself, I think I can share.
Thank you,
Ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
you tell us your email ID. We'll send
Okay.
a mail. So
Okay.
through the mail you can send the PPT, ma'am. I'll share it.
See,
ma'am.
I have shared it in the comment box also. I don't know how it works. No, it is not. Okay. So I'll give the mail ID. I'm typing in the mail ID.
Okay, ma'am.
But give me some time to check the mail and revert back to you, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, that is my mail ID. Right. And if possible, give me the feedback also so that we will also, it is like appraisal, you are the appraiser, you are all the people who will appraise me of my job. I believe in that. So you can give me particularly the flaws, whatever to be improved in the class. If you say that would be beneficial for your juniors also. So I kindly request you to give the feedback. I got one feedback for one student in the first class itself, but I read that. I forgot to reply. I have to reply. Now I remember. I'll reply to that person also. I don't remember the name. And thank you for that. It is a very good feedback. Thank you for that feedback. Okay. With that, we will wind up the class. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.